I don't know.
I threw you off.
Good morning, everybody. I thought for some reason I had to do an accent or something. Today's February 1st, 2018. It's MMA Junkie Radio's pre-show, the show before the show. I am Ghost. To my left, Gorgeous George, the host of the show. To his left, MMA Junkie Radio's fight analyst. That is Dan Tom. And taking a leak is producer Danny. He's in New York.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but we added Rob Font to today's slate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I just sent that about 5 minutes ago as I was walking in. They got back to me. Rob Font will be on, and Joe Lauzon will be on.
Today.
Boston's in the house.
All right.
Rob Font.
I can adjust the tweets, but the Facebook.
Rob's
boxes
Twitter
should be
is
fine.
at Rob S. Font. Rob S. Font.
Cool.
Hi.
Danny, did you get that?
No, I didn't.
We added Rob Font to the show today.
Okay.
What do you think of that, Danny?
I don't want to say.
Bet you weren't expecting that.
We're coming up in a minute. What do you think about
This
that?
is live. It's 6:30 on Thursday morning, February 1st. 1/12 of the year's behind us. Did you make the most of it, everybody?
You didn't answer his question, George.
What do you ask?
He said, what do you think of that?
I didn't understand what he did.
I didn't do anything. Coming up in 30.
Joe Lauzon will be our other guest if I haven't mentioned that. Yeah, I did. I think I did. So, let's get this going here.
Alright, guys. Coming up. Stand by.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMA Junkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us. There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMA Junkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, early edition. It is the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our East co-host. To my left, the fight analyst, Dan Tom, and of course, back east, yes, the whole band is together. Danny Olkers joins us. What's up, guys?
What up, everybody?
Good morning. Early morning.
Morning.
It's live. It's live. It's Thursday, February 1st. It's 6:30 a.m. here in Las Vegas, 9:30 a.m. somewhere back east. Both of our guests, Joe Lauzon and Rob Font, are East Coasters, so we'll be catching up with them. Actually, they'll actually appear on the show in the first hour.
Hey, give him the run along right now. He delivers the coffee.
Ooh, no, I can't do that. And, you know, we're going to take calls. We're going to do everything as usual. The reason we're doing this is to accommodate a Super Bowl show that'll be rolling through. So I think what it is a morning show that just wants to be in Las Vegas to cover the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl's in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's kind of I think where I'd be. But I guess my number 2 spot would be Las Vegas. In fact, if you have tickets to the game, then for sure you're in Minnesota.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But if you're just there for Radio Row and then you're bouncing, I think I'd rather just be in Vegas, dude.
Yeah, why not, right?
Right. This place is going to be popping all weekend. The New England Patriots face the Philadelphia Eagles in Minneapolis, Minnesota for Super Bowl 52. Current line, New England minus 4.5, Eagles 48. That's the total.
If Minnesota would have made it, how much of a home field advantage could they have generated? Because not all those tickets.
No, right.
It's not like a regular game.
Yeah. So here's what I hear. What I hear is it's 50% corporate, 50% teams. Of the 50% teams, 25% would have been Minnesota. The other 25% would have been the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. But not all Patriots buy tickets, right? Is what the way we would have to look at it.
Well, let's just say that 25% of it went to Patriots fans, 25% of it went to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that 50% corporate, that's where they can get bought out, and some of the corporations may be Minnesota-based. I don't know. And plus, when you're there, dude, all it takes, trust me, if I were to go, hey, Dan, do you give a shit about the Super Bowl? And he goes, no. And I go, here's my gift to you. And I now present him with a little slip that says Eagles plus 4.5. Guess who's going to be yelling his ass off on Sunday? You can easily become a fan if you have $100 or 500 or whatever, depending on your status of baller. Some people will go nuts over 25, whatever, and that's it. Now you have yourself a fan. You know what I mean? And same thing, if you're there and you just choose a team, you buy their jersey or whatever, because a lot of people are like that. Some people don't have a team, and they just go there for the experience. So to answer your question, I think using the what do they call it? Secondhand, like the brokers, the ticket brokers and scalpers or whatever. I think maybe 50 to 75% would have been rooting for the Vikings. And is that as loud as 100% Vikings? I don't know, because yet again, those corporate people that are kind of yelling, they're not like the true hardcore fans that dress the part and all that. I've never been to a Super Bowl, but Sammy the Squid went to one at halftime. It was one of the Super Bowls where the Cowboys, they just wanted to be at the stadium, and so they tailgated. They were trying to get tickets, but there was too much. Somewhere around halftime, and that was the game where Leon had the ball and the Buffalo Bill guys stripped him. Halfway through, they go, hey, let's just go up to the gate and see. And I guess the security guard, it was such a blowout, the security guard said, just come on in. And like 8 of them rolled in, you know what I mean? And
to the Super Bowl?
Some people had gone out. Maybe it wasn't halftime, maybe the 4th or something. Mm-hmm. But when they were there, they were expecting a little bit more of a crazy environment. So they thought, where are the Cowboy fans? Because Cowboys are still scoring, Why isn't this like as nutty as I thought it would be? And he said it was a really, really corporate atmosphere. There were fans, but he says there was just a lot of corporate atmosphere. Nothing like had the game been in Cowboy Stadium.
The worst is watching the Super Bowl, and there's this guy, and hey man, it's always a white guy. He's got his kid, and the kid's like this. A Game Boy or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be more common these days.
I wouldn't punch a kid, but that'd be the closest I'd come.
Our guest today will be coming in early, so we are going to take an early commercial. Not now, but do you want me to tell you the Max story?
Yeah. Before you get to that, the word we were looking for yesterday was automated.
Automated. When were we trying to do that?
About tweets.
Automated. You're right. Yeah. The hoof. So, last night, because I can't walk as fast, my girlfriend Juliet, she takes off with the dog early. And then I leave about 10 minutes after. And so when she gets to the 3-mile mark and gets back, it's about the time I get to about the 2-mile mark, and then we come back together. So, because Max charges out. He has a lot of energy, our little Jack Russell Terrier. As they were leaving the neighborhood, business as usual. What she tries to do is, as soon as they leave the house, they actually go for a little bit of a run until they get out of the neighborhood, just to kind of like start to burn a little bit of his energy. But at the same time, sometimes Max likes to take a dump, And we don't want to do that on someone's lawn. So we just want to make it to that first corner where it's kind of like a more common area because, we pick up and all that, no problem. Or even out to the little park that we have in the neighborhood. And so sometimes we just basically want to take care of that first. Well, as they're doing that, now let me rewind about an hour before. I was talking to a friend of mine, and it was business related. But near our home, we have terrible coverage. But in the neighborhood, you have about 3 bars. And as I was driving in, it's one of those neighborhoods where it's a complete loop, right? So as I was driving in, I was actually going to park and just talk to him, but make sure I don't go in the house because I would lose the call. And then I noticed he kept saying, are you there? Are you there? And I go, shit. So since the car was still running, I just looped around to the other part of the neighborhood. And I was actually going to go down to the bar, down at the corner. That's where when I do interviews, I go all the way down there because it's 5 bars. But as I got to the other part of the neighborhood, I noticed, I think I'm good. It said 3 bars, so I just pulled over, kept the car running, and was talking to him. As we were talking, I see these kids, and they're playing with a dog. And it does look like he has like a pit bull body, but more of a Doberman head. So it could just be a mix, whatever. Anyway, the leash was kind of a thick, almost like someone's belt, it looked like. But it was thicker, and they're running up and down with the dog, and one kid's got control, but he ain't got that much control. He's kind of like a little kid. He was like 6 or 7, but he did have his dog. The dog never got away from him, but when the dog pulled, it would kind of almost pull the kid. So here I'm thinking, wow, like if that dog pulls a little bit more, what'll happen is the kid will trip, he'll have to let go, and the dog could exit the neighborhood. And you know how cactus is. Cars are moving at a high speed, and I just was more concerned that way. At the same time, there's a bunch of kids playing, and they're just crossing through the street. And so here's old man GG thinking, hey, kids, like, look both ways, man. Shit could happen in here because it gets dark early. I'm thinking that. I'm still doing the business call. And a lot of kids are just kind of like almost running into each other. And the one kid that's running back and forth with the dog, he's kind of almost getting surprised by kids. And I kept thinking, like, that dog must be pretty well trained, like, because a couple of them petted him. He even jumped up on a couple, but it was no big deal. So I go, okay, they must all be friends, no big deal. I'm sitting here. I sat there for about another half hour. They're running back and forth, no big deal. I go back. Have I mentioned it's no big deal? No big deal. I go back and change. I get home, check the mail, change, and then that's when Juliet left. And then when I went to catch her up, her and Max are coming back rather quickly. And I go, oh, and as I was leaving, there was animal control. And it was the smell of a skunk. So I thought, oh, there must have been a skunk. And they call this dude out, and he's there to scoop it up or something. As I keep walking through, as I get out of the neighborhood, Juliet and the dog are coming up. And then all of a sudden, animal control creeps up behind me. Now I have one of those stun batons, just in case of coyotes or bigger dogs. I won't use it on a dog unless they've clamped onto ours, or they're trying to clamp onto ours, or one of us. I'll just use it to scare them, or to, or I guess I would hit the dog too, but to scare them with the noise more than anything, you know what I mean? Anyway, because Max has been attacked before. So, as we're doing this, damn, we got to go to break soon. As we're doing this, the guy comes up behind, and he asks her if she's okay, and I'm like, what is going on here? And that's when she tells me Max got attacked. Now, I'll make it real fast. Apparently, they just saw each other, and Max was so happy with his walk. Max will usually like, what's up, you know? But he's doing it to protect you, really. But he's also letting the other dog know I ain't no chump. And so he did it, but he also kind of like, whatever. You know, he didn't even care because he was so happy with his walk. He just wanted to get out to the neighborhood and go to the trail. And so as that happened, that's when the kid couldn't control the dog, and he somehow slipped out of his leash, and he sneak attacked Max. And Max is he's going on 15, so his hearing isn't as good. So he didn't even sense it, and all of a sudden he came, and Juliet saw it out of the corner of her eye, and so she managed to say no and also pull Max. And in that little swipe, the dog, you know, went for like his neck or the ear area, and he managed to get a little puncture in on him. And she said the only thing Max did was like, whoa, you know, and just went like right back to maybe get his nose. And she pulled, and she's kind of doing the whole little pirouette. And And then by then, because animal control was there for another reason, either the skunk smell had something to do with it, or maybe someone called in. Maybe someone's already been threatened by that dog, and maybe they said, hey, you better talk to these kids. I don't know what it was, but I'll tell you this much. As she's telling me that, I go, well, where's the dog? And the guy goes, he's already in here. We're taking him. I go, oh, shit, you know? And I was thinking, it must be those kids. And, like, part of me was like, I feel bad for those kids, but at the same time, he could have ate my dog. And but I was wondering, why was he Johnny on the spot? How could he have been there that quick? And he goes, I can't tell you why I was here. You know, I guess it's private or whatever. But so I'm thinking someone must have called in. Hey, there's a dog loose. Maybe he got loose before, or just that's the dog that attacked my dog, or who knows what, or maybe a skunk. I don't know. But he was already there, and that guy managed to get the dog, and so that dog's now gone. And Max, Juliet put him up to the light, and she couldn't find anything. She's checking. He's okay. Couldn't find anything, and so he managed to still do his 3-mile walk, no problem. But when we got home and we're brushing him, that's when we noticed he had the little puncture.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is
Make
where
it
we
quicker
live.
because we got to go to break.
This is where we live. Was animal control here, right by like the entrance, kind of, at a house over here?
Wait, this is where we live.
Yeah.
Animal control is here.
Okay.
But I saw the dogs here. This is running back and forth here.
When I left,
Yeah.
there was a weird-looking truck, and I thought there were cops. And I was like, oh, that's a weird-looking truck. It did look more like an animal control maybe type truck, but it was about here.
Was Max home when you left?
Yeah.
Okay, so that guy had already been called out, and it probably had something to do with maybe people saying, hey, this dog tends to get loose, or he goes after people or other dogs. But like I said, I saw him playing with other kids, and it looked okay.
What happens to that dog? Does anybody know?
I didn't specify, but I just go, where's the dog at the time? I wasn't sure if they got spoken to or what. He goes, oh, I already got him. But he gave me a look like that's a wrap or something, you know, like.
Oh.
So I don't know if that guy, if he's already been, the dog's been doing other stuff, and it's the straw that broke the camel's back, or what. But anyway, I'll talk more about pit bulls, because do you remember Kristen from USA Today? I get home and the first thing I see on Instagram is her and her pit bull, and she writes, I love pit bulls. He's got this big old head and these teeth. And I wanted to go, man, I know people love their pit bulls. I'm not trying to tell you yours is a bad one, but wow, man, when they can go south, if they're not trained well, they're fucking vicious, man.
I have something to add later too, as a pit bull owner.
I'd rather confront the coyote than the pit bull. But we gotta. How are we looking at this? All right, Danny. Tell you what, get Joe Lauzon on the show, please. We'll reschedule we'll figure out the commercial schedule if you don't mind. All right.
Jesus,
I mean, you could literally break right now. I was just playing music.
Okay, then let's go to break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. When we come back, we'll talk to Joe Lauzon, UFC lightweight.
charm, compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, so this UFC 223 card is really coming together. They're calling it maybe the... Depends on what you think of the Boston card that we just had. But this one's, like, a lot of people are really hailing it. A lot of talented fighters, a lot of well-known fighters. 2 title fights. Tony Ferguson, Habib Nurmagomedov, I believe, will be for the undisputed. Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, so that's a rematch there. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, Felice Herrig, Ali Aquinta versus Paul Felder, and our Brandon Moreno and Ray Borg got moved. They got moved to UFC 223. So now let's talk about Joe Lauzon, who's going to be fighting his 26th fight in the UFC. That's amazing, man. 26 times to make that walk. He'll be facing Chris Gritzmacher at UFC 223. And Joe Lauzon joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
How are you guys doing?
Great, man. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
You going to be watching the Patriots on Sunday? You having a big party or going to a party?
I think I'm going to my wife's uncle's house. We've done the Super Bowl last couple of years over there, so I think that's the plan.
Is that the one where things can happen, where leg kicks take place, or
no,
two brothers street fight, or anything like that? Or is that more like in the summer?
Yeah, it's always a good time.
Katie's family is civilized. They don't kick and assault each other at parties like my family does.
I forgot about the waterboarding. That's right. Yeah.
Yep, we do that too.
The Lauzons are an interesting bunch, man. When they party. All right.
Yeah, we don't mess around.
Yeah. You're gonna make the walk for the 26th time. I counted as fast as I could, but I think I got it right. That's so impressive, Joe. I mean, you picked a career that a lot of people, 10, 12 years ago when you were doing this, you had a full-time job. A lot of people, were still calling it, savages beating each other up or whatever. It was starting to get legalized. It wasn't legalized in every state. And here you are. You made a career out of it, and you're a bonus machine. I mean, you ever stand back and just take a look and applaud yourself, I guess, for sticking with it?
I don't think I ever applied myself for it. I focus on negative stuff. I focus on oh, my last fight didn't go so well. I focus on the fact that I can get better at stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I focus on. But it's definitely nice that I've taken what most considered a relatively short career, and I've stretched it out quite a bit longer. And I think that things have gone pretty well for me overall.
Here's another thing. You have lost your last couple fights. You just mentioned that. But it doesn't matter. Like, you've put in so much time, and you're such an exciting fighter that I already know what I'm getting, and I'm getting a fight. There could be other fighters that are like 12-1 or on a 5-fight win streak, but if they haven't impressed, I just don't give a shit. Somehow over the years, you made us give a shit. So it's your style of fighting. You're violent either way. You'll take the violence or you'll dish out the violence. So much respect, for, I guess, just your style of fighting, and that's why you've earned to be on these big cards and have these certain positions on main cards or wherever you wind up.
I definitely appreciate that. I try to always fight, be aggressive, and go out there and have a good fight. And sometimes it goes my way, sometimes it doesn't. I think that it's always a good fight regardless. It's always entertaining, and I think that's kind of what I've been really lucky to be on some really, really big cards. This is a great card. The entire card from top to bottom is amazing. I feel like there's like 5 different fights that could all be the main event on pretty much any pay-per-view, any fight night, and I get to be part of that. So it's great to be in such great company. Joe's badass fighters.
Joe's got 27 wins, 25 of them have been finishes, so that's what I'm talking about right there. And another thing, Joe, is you always stay busy. Like, there really is never a year, I think 2014, but before that, you keep scrolling. You just always fight at least the 2, and sometimes sometimes the 3rd or the 4th. So your health has been pretty good.
Yeah, I think that we're a little bit smarter about how we train. We're good about resting when we need to, and listen to our body and take care of ourselves. I think that all definitely helps. I had like 10 months off when I had ACL surgery, but still, fighting 10 months later is pretty crazy. pretty fast. So, I think we've been pretty smart. We've been really fortunate about, avoiding injuries, and just, staying in the gym. Like, I'm one of those guys that, like, even after a fight, even if a fight doesn't go that well, like, I'm back in the gym, relatively quick right after the fight. I don't go months without training. I don't go months being out of the gym, I'm always in regardless. So I think it's just, I like being busy. It's nice having a goal and having something to work towards.
Now, you're one of the more responsible fighters we talk to, so that's why we can explore and ask different questions, and you're always very honest. After this last win, you did have a TKO. What was your concussion protocol of sorts? Did you officially have one, and did you do any additional testing? Just because, you're getting older, this wasn't your first, or update us on that, I guess.
So I guess the big thing, so the fight was November 11th, and honestly, I didn't do anything. I didn't get hit. I didn't do anything for almost, I don't know, like a month and a half, 2 months almost. I worked out with Calvin Cater and Rob Font, a couple times. It's kind of like, a little bit lighter sparring, so like I was getting hit a little bit, but not hard. But just I didn't do anything. No getting hit at all. And that was a big thing, and just, rest. I think, resting is just like, it's so overlooked by guys. I hear all the time about guys, whether in the UFC, whether they're trying to get to the UFC or whatever, but, they get knocked out in the gym, or they go down like really, really bad, really, really hard. And then, like a week later, a couple of days later, next round, they're hopping back in there. And I think that's like so irresponsible. I think it's like, they have to take better care of themselves. So like for us, it's like, okay, we took, like a month and a half off. Like we're not messing around. We're not messing with anything. We take the time. It sucks sometimes being on the sideline and feeling like, oh, I feel like I could train right now. But you can't. You can't. You have to give your brain time to rest. So that was the big thing. I think that, I don't think it was a case of, I know, like, I was getting, like, a little bit of hate from, like, people on Twitter, like, oh, you can't take a punch anymore, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that was it at all. I think it was, I'm not delusional and think that, I'm going to walk through everything like I did when I was 20 or 21, but, I think I hit with a perfect shot right behind the ear right off the bat, and then hit me a huge uppercut. I think anyone would have gone down from. So, I don't think it's like a withering chin or whatever ability to take a punch. I think I just got cracked. I think I got hit with a really, really solid shot, and I went down because of it. So we took what we figured to be appropriate amount of time of taking it easy, and and I still haven't started hard sparring. We'll probably wait a few more weeks before that. So it'll be like 2.5, close to 3 months before we before we do any kind of hard sparring. So I think that's appropriate. I think that a lot of people would be like they said, like they would go the next round, or they would go a week later or something like that. And we took 3 months, so I think that's good.
Joe Lauzon, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He fights Grits, also known as Chris Gritzmacher, from one of the previous Ultimate Fighter seasons. I think it was Dominic versus Uriah when they were going live. They fight at UFC 223 in Brooklyn, New York on April 7th. All right, goes. What do you have for Joe Lauzon?
Joe, your son is getting older and older now, and I'm sure at some point he's going to want to see some of your old fights and what you were all about. Is there a fight, 2 fights, that you could point to that you would want him to watch? One, this is what Dad was all about, a great moment, and then maybe a bad moment, but one that you were proud of.
I'd probably go the first Jim Miller fight for kind of like the bad one, because like obviously I lost the fight, but it was a great fight. I was bleeding, and he kept on pushing through, kept on fighting hard. Didn't go my way, but I was pushing every second of the fight. Just no matter how crappy it got, it kept going. So that was kind of a bad one. For a good one, I like the Melvin Gillard one, just because I think that Melvin was he was like celebrating walking down to the ring, and we kept our we kept focused, we kept our head down, we went after him, and we took care of business. So those are both good fights. The first fight against Gabe Rudiger in Boston was a good one, but that was like I absolutely destroyed him from start to finish. So I feel like maybe that one like it wasn't as cool as the Melvin fight. I'm always switching on what I think was like the best fight.
He didn't mention the Jens fight. The Jens fight.
That's good.
I wouldn't say Jens was celebrating, but I think the UFC was celebrating. They were expecting Jens to.
I think they expected. Yeah, I think they expected it to go different than it went, but but that was like, I mean, that kind of kicked everything off. But I think that was like not in the grand scheme of like the entire career I've had. Maybe that was like the coming out kind of moment, but I thought the Melvin fight was a little bit better.
Okay.
We were sitting pretty close to his family that night, and they were so loud. Do you remember when that happened?
In Anaheim?
Yeah.
My mom.
Man. It was a really cool
I can hear my mom, even now, in big arenas, I can hear my mom. I can pick her up. Because she intentionally waits till it gets, like, really, really quiet, and then she screams something, like, as loud as she can. You can't hardly hear her voice after the fight, but during the fight, she's screaming so loud.
Hey, Goes, pop quiz, do you remember the shirts they were wearing?
Yeah. Oh, no. Fuck. I remember my favorite one was the one
2006. We're like 12 years now.
The one was that had the list of names on the back. Remember, with an X on it. I remember that one, but I don't remember the.
Did it say "Fear No Evil," Joe, or something like that?
Fear No Evil was the Pulver fight. Yep.
Do you still have all those?
I have most of them.
Yeah, those are cool.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sure I do somewhere. But we had a lot of event shirts. We've had a lot of those shirts.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, fatherhood. Do you feel like it changed you at all as a fighter?
Not too much. You know, I think that, you know, I've always been super competitive. You know, I'm not thinking about any of that stuff like when it's fight time. Like it definitely messes with my schedule a little bit some days. You know, trying to find, you know, like whether my wife's got work or, you know, babysitter calls and cancels or something like that. Like, we're really lucky because we get a lot of help between my family and Katie's family. And then, you know, and we get babysitters when we need them, you know, but sometimes things happen. You know, babysitter cancels like the last minute. Like I'm literally walking out the door or getting ready for the babysitter to show up and be like, oh, sorry, my car broke down, or, you know, or sorry, I'm sick, or, you know, like, so that part changed a little bit, I think. Whereas before it used to be that, you know, fighting was 100% the priority. You know, like if my, you know, no matter what else happened, I would always make it to the gym. I would always make the workout. Whereas now, like occasionally, you know, my son is sick, or we'll take him to the doctor or something like that. Like, so that part changes a little bit. You know, changes the dynamic a little bit. But I don't think it's like I don't think that I'm like being more of like a pussy because like, oh, I gotta be there for my son and da. Like I think some people get, you know, kind of affected by that. Like, oh, I want to be able to play ball with my kid, and of course we all do, but. I don't think that really changes like how I fight or how I do anything.
Dan, Tom, what do you have for Joe Lauzon?
Yeah, it's funny. You guys brought up the Jens Pulver fight, and Joe, you know, time flies. You were working, I believe, a desk job, a computer job, if serves me correct, when you fought then. And then next thing you know, you have your own gym. Next thing you know, you're getting thrown with the veteran label. But tell me, man, with the gym, and you have these young fighters coming in like Calvin Cater and Rob Font. Can you tell me about the injection of working with these younger guys and the growth of your gym there, and how that helps you?
So for the most part, we've, you know, I've always kind of been a coach and a fighter at the same time. Like we've always had guys, you know, it started out there was more like amateur fighters and then pro fighters, and then like Joey Proctor got to the UFC, and we got Mike Rodriguez now. We have a whole bunch of guys that are kind of like homegrown from the start. You know, Font you know, so Rob Font and Calvin Cater are a little bit different. Like they're not, you know, they're more sort of training partners, but I definitely act as a coach, you know, some days with them. You know, like we run workouts, they come and they work on stuff. It's really all about, like, you know, for a long time it's basically been, you know, my gym, and, you know, another well-known gym around here, and everyone kind of, you know, was kind of like in those two main camps. Like, we have a lot of cross-training in New England, you know, but a lot of guys would come to us, a lot of guys would go there, and just as time gone on, you know, like, just, you know, it's kind of shifted a little bit, you know, so, like, you know, Rob and Calvin have, you know, been coming down to us a little bit more. And then, of course, because they come, like, their main training partners, like, you know, they're just like me. They have guys, you know, like, are their good training partners have kind of migrated down with them, and it's kind of worked out like that, you know. So it's really not, like, it's not a case of, like, oh, these are my Lauzon MMA fighters. No, it's just that we're all just getting together as training partners, and just, it's been awesome. You know, I think that, you know, like, Saturday mornings are a great, you know, great day for us because literally the best guys in New England are all at my gym on Saturday mornings. It's crazy. You know, like there might be 8 or 10 UFC guys there on a Saturday morning. It's just, you know, you never know who's going to show up. And, like, every week we're shocked by, like, oh, you know, some other guy from further and further apart or away just drove all the way here. You know, we get guys that drive from Maine and all over the place. It's been super helpful for my training. I think everyone's getting the benefit of it because we're kind of, I think for a long time, like, you know, when you talk to local shows, it's like no one wants to cross-train with other shows because you might fight someone from that school. So a lot of people don't want to cross-train. But now we've got all these guys together. We're fighting everyone from across the country. We're not like, I'm not focused on fighting someone from 2 schools over. And these guys aren't focused on fighting someone, you know, from, you know, 10 minutes away or 20 minutes away. It's like everyone just get together. we're all, iron sharpening iron, and we're all just getting ready to fight all these, like, kind of like these people from, like, way farther away. And it's just been awesome. It's just been a really, really good thing. Just good training partners showing up. No one's showing up with ego. Everyone else just showing up to help each other out. It's been great. It's been awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. Joe, one last question. If somebody were to just say, hey, why do you still fight? Is it like the money now? I mean, you guys get paid a lot better, now. Why? How would you answer that question?
So I'm still super competitive. So my gym doesn't make a ton of money because my gym is set up in a way that gives me, like, the best training environment for me. When I decide I'm going to stop fighting, my gym will make a lot more money because I'll teach a lot more classes. So I like doing that stuff. I just don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give my school something right now and they have to take it away every time a fight camp pops up. It's like, because if people aren't happy that I gave it to them for 3 months, they're pissed when I take it away for 2 when I'm in training camp. So. So it's not so much a money thing. It's just I'm super competitive. I am super competitive, and I want to win, and I want to get better all the time. And we always talk about how I like video games. Like, I like leveling up. I like getting better at stuff. I like having goals. Of course, the money's nice. Like, I get paid way more now than I did, like, when I started.
Right.
That part is obviously important. But it's just it's really just being competitive, and I think that guys don't get to this level if they aren't competitive. I think they don't get to this level if they don't enjoy it. So, I honestly like going to the gym every single day. I like getting better. I like getting these fights. I like fight camp. Like, I know a lot of guys they hate about, like, the weight cut and the diet and that kind of stuff, and that's always, like, the worst part. But that part's never terrible for me. Like, my weight's always good. I'm always in the gym. I'm always in shape. I'm always ready to go. So for me, it's just just constantly trying to build skills and build skills and build skills. And sometimes you don't see them pop out in fights, and then a couple fights go by and you see, like, a flash, right? I put it all together at once. And, but I'm always working on new stuff, always.
Yeah, I like that body lock and then the trip, and then boom! All of a sudden, you see the fastest transitions that anybody ever puts out there. They're all quick and they're all going for the sub. I love watching you fight. So anyway, listen, man. I hope you have a good camp before the Chris Grismacher fight, and maybe we'll catch up with you on fight week. Thanks always for the time, Joe.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Goes has his 5 questions that he used to ask you a long time ago, and I guess he's bringing them back.
Here we go.
Dude, I have not done this
I thought
in
those were
about.
coming a little earlier.
I haven't done this in about 5 years, maybe. Right?
You dusted them off, Goes?
I dusted them off for Joe Lauzon.
Okay.
What do you think? You ready, Joe? You want to bring back some old memories?
I'm ready.
All right.
Yep.
You get paid $4,000 a month. Okay? Every month you get that paycheck. But any time you get within 50 feet of someone over the age of 95 years old, you shit your pants. Do you take that?
Yes.
What do you do at
I
airports?
think so. I don't know how often I see someone that's 95 years old. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone that's 95 years old.
You got to be careful, man. In arenas, think about it. Disneyland, you never know, dude.
How many 95-year-olds have you seen at in arena though? I don't know. And 50 feet is like not. You said 50 feet. Is that what it was?
Yeah, within 50 feet.
Yeah, I mean that's. How many 95-year-olds be in an arena?
How many times do you think you would shit though, like per year? It's got to get you at least 2 or 3 times, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any time that's anyone that was 95 years old.
All right.
I really don't.
Question number 2.
I don't know. I would take that for sure.
You're hosting a Super Bowl party, but you have 2 options.
Yep.
And it happens at the last minute. You have to make the decision. Would you rather have an 80-inch standard definition TV or a 20-inch high def?
High def, for sure.
Man, you're going to make all those people watch the Super Bowl on a 20-inch TV?
I'm not going to make them watch in standard definition.
It's 80 inches though.
Dude, standard's bad now.
But we used to do it, guys.
I know, but it looks like an old Atari. It's bad.
It's so bad, yeah. It's bad.
Can't you just go, hey man, I'm getting bad signal, versus like everybody else is going to be like, what the fuck, Joe's a 20-inch TV? Why would you throw a party with us?
I wouldn't matter. Yeah, I mean, throwing a party was a mistake, but you go HD.
All right, question number 3. Would you rather have perfect teeth but be forced to use ghost pepper flavored toothpaste that burns for the first 30 seconds to maintain them, or have all molars in your teeth?
That's a tough one. I if you had the Ghost Peppers, I think you'd kind of build up an immunity to it. So I think it would be. I think it would get better in time. I think I would do Ghost Peppers.
I think you just have to brush once a day, like around 2 p.m. Right? You're not doing it twice. Which would be worse?
You don't make it. I think the time you just, some people just, eat peppers or something like that. It doesn't bother them at all. I know ghost peppers are really strong and powerful, but I would think that, doing it every day you would grow up in immunity.
Nah, I hear that. Which would be worse?
Or you just die. Or you die and then that kind of takes stuff out too.
Would you rather get KO'd by Richard Simmons and TMZ captures it on film? Or you trip an old lady at a park and laugh and TMZ catches that? Which video would be worse getting out?
Am I tripping a lady intentionally, or is it like an accidental trip?
No, you stick your foot out, she trips, and then you even kind of go, hee, like you kind of laugh. Or you and Richard Simmons are having a confrontation and he just KOs you.
I'd get KO'd.
By Richard Simmons?
Yeah, but it's not about me at that point. You gotta check your lady.
All right. Last question.
It's not about me at that point. You gotta look out for others. Yeah.
Would you lose 2 inches off your dick if it meant you never had to pay at a restaurant again?
No. I don't think so. See, that's such a loaded question.
Think about it, man. You could be going to Chris Ruth. Ruth Chris, sorry.
Ruth Chris.
This is for the rest of your life, dude.
Huh?
This is for the rest of your life.
Texas Day Brazil. It doesn't matter. It's all.
Does he have to show it as his ticket to get in, or how does that work?
Because he's already married, and things are going good, right, Joe? I mean, you're already married.
Yep. Married, got 2 kids. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's set.
I guess that would work.
You just wear your steel Muay Thai cup and your jeans everywhere you go to kind of make up for it.
Yep. Whatever you got to do. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's not the worst trade-off. I guess it's a bad trade-off, but it's not the worst.
All right, Joe. Thanks for being a good sport. Thanks for doing the show, man. Again, have a safe camp. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All right, we'll see you. That is Joe Lauzon, folks. Follow him on Twitter. It's simple. He makes it simple. At Joe Lauzon. We're going to take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back.
Hey, idiot! Yeah, you. Can you please tap that rather large fellow on the shoulder and tell him it's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes? Thank you.
All right, we're back. We're going to take some calls, but got to let everybody know that the best of SiriusXM Super Bowl coverage from the Mall of America is all on one channel. Check out Super Bowl Radio, channel 145. And today at 2 Eastern, you'll hear live coverage of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's annual State of the League press conference. It's Super Bowl 52 Radio, and it's on channel 145. Let's talk to Brandon from Louisville. He's on the hotline. What's up, Brandon?
Gorgeous George, Dan, Tom, how are y'all doing today?
Oh, how are you?
What's up, Brandon?
Gigi, I want you to close your eyes and take a stroll down memory lane to a better time. I want you to look 42 years in the past. You remember when you were an only child, Gigi, and everything was wonderful?
Loved it.
Yeah. It kind of feels like that again. Goes, you're dead to me.
Ooh.
What? Why? I made you your shirt and everything. Like, what are you complaining about? I thought you had one of the better shirts, too.
Justin.
Did you ever see his shirt, George?
Brandon's?
Yeah, check that out. Isn't that tight? He wanted a shirt, so I made him one.
That's it?
That's pretty good, right?
Not really.
No? No.
Done better. How you doing, Brandon? You're still one of my favorites.
Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate that. You're my favorite Garcia brother. You may even be my favorite of the Garcia cousin. I'm not sure about that, but...
You know, there's actually a good chance. And tell the truth. Am I your favorite Garcia walking this planet? Or does Sergio got me, or Leonard, or I don't know.
I mean, Jerry Garcia. That'd be a tough one.
He doesn't walk the
But he's
planet
not
any
walking
longer.
the planet anymore,
Yeah.
is it?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So, you might be. You might be the king of the Garcias.
All right.
Hi.
What's on your
I
mind,
mean, it's
brother?
not really a great thing.
Hold on, this is Justin from Kentucky. I gotta take this. All right, I'll be back.
Oh. What's up, Brandon? I'm still here for you. What's up?
God damn it. I hate you guys so much. You know what? I've got nothing. Fuck y'all. Bye.
Oh, my God.
He's gone.
And like that?
You shook him up.
He's gone.
We were still ready to take the call and ask other questions, and...
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'll send you your Ghost Jitsu shirt. All right. Yeah, you're the best dude. All right, later, man.
Jesus.
All right, what did I miss?
Brandon had to abandon ship.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk to Mike from Miami. This can't be. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Wow.
What up, GG? What's going on? Dan, what's up? Goes, what's going on, man?
Hello.
It's been a while since I've been on this show.
What's up, Mike?
Let me just make sure this is the right Mike from Miami. Who's your favorite fighter again?
Oh, man, come on, man. We already know this, man. Him and Barral, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
My man.
Where you been? You moved to Arizona, back to Miami. Where you at now? Miami?
I'm in Miami back now. I was in Arizona for a little bit, but I'm in Miami now.
We expected you
I'm
like
gonna go see Barral
20 times over here. You never made it.
Right now. Huh?
We expected you like 20 visits from you. You never made it over here.
No, it was only like 2 visits, man.
2? Okay, felt like 20 though.
Yeah.
How you been?
Hey, what's up with that book, man, that I was supposed to get?
What's the book? Tell me what the book is.
Did you win a contest?
I forgot the name.
It was probably the Bible.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, the MMA Bible. There you go.
No, what was the book? Was it a Dolce book or what was it?
No, it was the... Oh, man, I forgot, man. It's been a while since that happened, man. I forgot.
I'll send...
Probably like a Big John
when we end
or
the call, we'll put you on hold, and I promise you I'll send you something.
He's going to send you
it does ring a bell, put it that way.
Yeah, because I remember the contest, too, and everything. But, hey, man, I wanted to ask a question, man. So, I know this I have 2 questions, actually, but one is about... How do you like in your Manchester United right now, man?
If you're talking about just yesterday's game, obviously the result was poor. They broke the record for the biggest crowd ever to see an English Premier League team out at Wembley Stadium. Only at Wembley Stadium. And what can you say? You know that I know that versus the top teams in the league, we just haven't been as good as I'd like. You know, so we've won our fair share, but I just remember being way more consistent about 5 to 10 years ago. So it sucks. I was hoping that this would be a game where we could go out there and beat Tottenham, flat out. Now we have. I feel like our offensive firepower is there, but I also feel like these young guys like Martial and Rashford, the Lingard, we need them to become like 20 to 25 per year goal scorers, and they're just they're gonna hover around 7, 10, 12. I don't know. Lukaku is our centerpiece, and when he's on, he's on. I mean, he's so hard to stop. But a lot of times, I know that Jose's style has always been focused on the big center forward, and sometimes I wish it was more free flowing and open. But what do I know? He's the guy that's got all kinds of trophies put up. Now look, it's only his second year, and he got kind of a crappy team, an aging team, and he has changed a lot of things that I like. He's dealt with some injuries, just like everyone else. So whatever, throw that last comment out. He's dealt with a lot, but now this will be his third summer transfer, and it'll be exciting to see what else they bring in. I think on offense we're pretty good. We need to keep the goalkeeper, obviously. The defense, I felt like we had tightened it up, but maybe we still need to shift more pieces around. I know Ashley Young and Antonio Valencia, they're getting older as well, so we're gonna have to focus on that. So there's some work to do, but I think now all of a sudden when the guys kind of get familiar with playing with each other, maybe we can go on a run. So we'll see. Now there's a lot of teams that have a lot of money, and there's a lot of great players out there. It's a physical league, and I don't expect to ever be like the Real Madrids and the Barcelonas, because their league's just not as physical, and it's not from top to bottom. It's not as stacked. So I don't
want to talk about Barcelona.
I mean, they're awesome. They haven't lost, right? They haven't lost this year. You should only be talking about them.
They just took my player, man. So I'm kind of hot about that.
Which one's that?
Coutinho, man. Liverpool. That's my team.
Oh, Liverpool. Oh, okay. Oh, you just made a lot of friends because a lot of the Junkie Nation listens to, roots for Liverpool. Yeah, they're a big team with a lot of money. Them and Real Madrid.
Googly moogly.
Yeah, but anyway, you still a Barral fan? You still on the hype train?
All day. I just told you, man, I'm going to Orlando to go watch them.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Sorry.
Barral's training in Florida, too. Is that a coincidence, Mike, or what's going on?
In Orlando, man. In Orlando.
ATT.
Is he? ATT in Orlando or in Coconut?
I'm not sure. I think the main one in Coconut Creek.
Coconut.
Okay.
It's Coconut. Yeah, he's in Coconut,
Mike
man.
knows.
And everything's looking good, man. I'm telling you, man. Baral's is my favorite, man. My favorite fighter. I got the new UFC game. I've been playing with him all night last night.
Yeah.
We just need to win, man. I just need Barral to win, man. Get back on the W train, man.
You can put some money on him?
It would be good. Huh?
You can put some money on him?
Oh no. I did that last time at the sleep train, and no, that wasn't a good experience.
All right. Well, listen, it's great to hear from you.
Hey, man,
we got to take a break right now. Actually, it's the top of the hour, even though it's the bottom of the hour, but it's basically 1 hour down and an hour to go. But it was great to hear from you. We're going to put you back on hold. Can you just give Danny your address, and I'll send you something? Yes or no? I'm going to put you on hold, all right, buddy? Okay. All right, good to hear from you, Mike.
Easy, Mike.
All right. Do we have enough time? Yeah. We got till 27. So this whole clock shift is throwing me off. David from New Brunswick. We got about 90 seconds. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. How's it going, guys?
Good. How about you?
How are you?
Good. Dave from New Brunswick, home of the world's highest tides.
I like it.
Okay.
And just wanted to say, should I be ashamed that it's a guilty pleasure that I'm looking forward to the Grand Prix tournament of heavyweights in Bellator?
Nah, not at all. Those are some big names. They've earned their spot. They've, basically given us lots of great moments, and that's why we still tune in, because they established themselves. And once you become a star, I think people just stay as fans. And so we're all excited to see who's going to come out of this. Will it mean that that's the top heavyweight in the world? No, but still, I think we're all excited to see who comes out of it. A tournament's a tournament, man.
Yeah.
And getting through three guys is commendable no matter what.
What do you think about the alternates?
I think they're going with Javier Ayala and Sergey. Well, I just think they should have been in there to begin with, but they wanted more pop, so they went with their more popular names. But I think one of them, one or both, could maybe feature. You never know, because these other guys are older and injuries just happen. So we'll see. But at least they're part of the stable, and going forward, we'll figure it out. Maybe Bellator's heavyweight stable will be more exciting. Thank you for the call, buddy. We got to move on. Folks, that's 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. When we start off the next hour, it'll be with Rob Font, UFC bantamweight, coming off a big win at UFC 220. We'll talk to him about that when we go on, and we'll take more calls. MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM.
Just don't curse.
Martin Stabilo won a contest. I do remember that. I don't remember he saying it's Diaz because I'm happy. Okay, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. I'm feeling discombobulated. Just the morning, it's throwing me off a little bit, especially working with the new clock.
The new clock throws me off. Everything else hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be, but the new clock is weird.
Yeah. All right, but it was, you know what? It really was cool to hear Mike's voice. Haven't heard from him in a while. He was a character. Still is a character. Huge Shannon Brow fan. You got to tip your hat to that. He didn't jump off the bandwagon.
Yep.
Because he's God, Hannon Brow was it for a while, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I remember Dana White goes, this is pound for pound the best fighter in the world. All it takes is one loss. And then really, when you're a pound for pound great and you lose once, maybe DJ and Jones could survive the hit and still be top 3. Everyone else is going to tumble close to 10. Did you know that? Because all the other fighters are so great that they're just waiting for a certain move. Like, I'll give you an example. At UFC 220, Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier both won. Miocic broke the record for most wins as a heavyweight, and Cormier added another title defense to his resume on top of everything else he's done. Remember, he's only got the one loss. The other loss to Jones is a no contest. So he's only got the one loss. He's won a Strikeforce Grand Prix tournament, which to me is almost the equivalent of being a Strikeforce heavyweight champ. But whatever, it's a Grand Prix tournament. Still got to tip your hat. And then he's had the run as a world champion on different occasions. So those guys were behind McGregor. Now McGregor did the one thing that no one else has done, and that's win 2 titles at the same time. So McGregor was sitting at 3. It was DJ, Jones, McGregor, and then the others. I think DC followed with Stipe behind him. When those two both won, those two took a move up and McGregor fell. Why? Because McGregor hasn't fought in about a year and a half in mixed martial arts. And also, even though he won the 2 titles, we can't forget that he also lost a mixed martial arts matchup within a year of winning that one. So he went 1-1 versus Nate Diaz, and he also does have the 3 losses. It's not like he doesn't. It's not like he only has just the 1 loss. I mean, DC only has the 1 loss. Conor McGregor has 3. So they move. But when something happens and there's a shakeup, you can, that was Conor without doing anything. He's just sitting at home watching fights, but he lost 2 spots on our pound for pound rankings. But like I was saying, Barao, he lost a couple, and boom, he's not even in the top 15, much less the honorable mention, because he probably isn't even, then he dabbled with featherweight, and so within his own division he's struggling, so still fans jump off the bandwagons and they move on, but credit to Mike, he's still with Henan Barao. All right, speaking of UFC 220, that same night Rob Font did work. He started off the pay-per-view by going out there and getting a finish over Thomas Almeida. Huge win for him. He joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. What's up, Rob? How you doing?
What's up, big man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio. You're on with George Goes, and we also have our fight analyst, Dan Tom, with us. Congratulations on a great win out in Boston. I don't think you could write a better script. That had to be the biggest moment of your career.
Yeah, man, definitely. The crowd was insane. Had a great opponent in front of me, and Thomas Almeida. I can't complain. Everything went smooth.
All the check marks were hit. You beat a ranked opponent. You finished them. It was on a pay-per-view. It was on a pay-per-view main card. I mean, seriously, it don't get any better than that. And I guess going forward, what you kind of raised the bar. Like it's going to have to be that way, right? The communication with the matchmaker is going to be, all right, give me another ranked opponent. And you're going to definitely push for a pay-per-view and maybe a spot on the main card on that pay-per-view, right? Is that how you look at it? Are you one of those guys that looks at your placement and where you're at, who you're fighting, and
yeah, I mean, I like that opening up the pay-per-view, spot, because exactly when you're about to walk out, you got to be there exactly at 10:05 or whatever the number is. So I wouldn't mind doing that again. So let's push for that for sure.
Because I tell fighters, stand up for yourselves, don't get bullied, right? The promotion they have 600 fighters that they're just churning through. Your fight card was done. Let me see, the week before was in St. Louis. The week after you was Charlotte. This week is, where are they at this week, guys? Oh, Brazil. Yep. Then they're going to Australia. You see what I mean? And awesome. even if it takes 15 seconds or 45 seconds, whatever it takes, or a phone call, Skype, you got to look these guys in the eye. And I'm not sure who your matchmaker is. If it's Mick Maynard or Sean Shelby, you got to look them in the eye and go, hey, you saw what I did. I opened up the pay-per-view and got everyone fired up for the main event, co-main event. That's my spot. Give me my spot. You know what I mean? So hopefully you really go out there and battle for that, because you did a great job of just setting the tone for that night, man. That was an awesome KO.
Oh, man, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, it felt great, man. Everything felt good. Had all my boys up there, family, all my training partners. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's true. You got followed up by Calvin's win, man. That was just a nice win for your team, Boston, and then the next day the Patriots had an amazing comeback too.
yeah. Perfect weekend, man. Perfect weekend.
Yeah. By the way, this weekend's the Super Bowl. I'm sure you know that. And do you have any plans to watch the Super Bowl in any specific party you going to, or you hosting?
No, not yet. Not yet. We're definitely going to be barbecuing and doing all that. But I think I'm more excited for the food than actually the game. But yeah, no, we might be going to Calvin's spot, but I'm not sure yet. But definitely barbecuing for sure.
All right, Rob Font joining us here on MMA Junkie Radio. Goes, what do you have for Rob?
Well, I had all kinds of questions, but when he brought up food, all that changed.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, when you say barbecuing, does that mean Rob Font's on the grill, or does that mean Rob Font's telling stories while other people are on the grill?
I mean, Rob Font's on the side with a Corona telling stories.
You're not a grill master?
No.
What's that?
I can throw it down, but I'd rather not,
Are you polite? Like, are you just sitting there laughing, but every once in a while looking at your clock going, man, where's this food at? What the fuck? Or do you just chill and shut up until the food's served?
Yeah, no, I'm a polite guy sitting waiting patiently.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm polite, but I'm thinking that, when's this food going to be done? Whoever's out there.
I try and fake it, and I take a lot of trips to the kitchen, so I'll go like, hey, y'all got cups or something, but really what I want to do is see where's
that? Yeah, what's the ETA?
What the ETA is on all that stuff. Rob, now that it's all said and done, what were some of the pressures that came from fighting at home? How did you feel it? I know some people say they get hit up by a lot of friends and family, tickets, that sort of stuff, distractions, more media. Now that it's all said and done, what were the actual pressures?
Yeah, it's funny. It wasn't necessarily the tickets or everybody. It was. I think I didn't pack enough. I think I was too lazy with packing and stuff like that. I had to keep going back and forth to my house. I got a little bit too cocky with that. It was almost easier leaving, going to out of state than actually being home, because I didn't even try to pack. It was, we're good. We was right down the street. And then, so I'm driving back and forth every other day to grab little things like gloves, mouthpiece, stuff like that. But besides that, I don't there wasn't much pressure. I felt great. I think everybody knew, kind of let me be and get ready for fight week. But besides that, everything went smooth.
Rob, coming off a win, the way you won, the moment of it all, can you talk us through what the conversation's like with your manager about what's next for you, how he makes that pitch, and do you give him a certain amount of names, like, hey, man, I'm looking to fight one of these three guys? How does all that work going forward? And if there are three names, who are they?
Yeah, honestly, obviously, we want to get anybody that's ranked above us. So, obviously, Marias would be a huge name. The Lineker rematch would be huge just for myself. But then, it's weird because the division's kind of jammed up. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Cruz and those guys. So I'm more realistically, I'm looking at a Marias or a Caraway type fight. But I'm down for it. I think the toughest one and the one that I think would probably get me quickest to that number one shot and that title would definitely either be the Lineker or the Marias fight.
I like what George said about coming out to Vegas and all, and we saw you a lot in Vegas in 2017, and I'm sure you made trips to the UFC PI, and you probably dug that as well. What about a trip to Vegas where maybe even a little bit of a training camp is incorporated? Did you like the PI that much where you would even consider something like that?
Yeah, we actually did that. We did that before this fight. I got the when I got the fight, we had it was 11 weeks exactly. So we waited till the 5th week, and then we came out to Vegas for a week and a half, and just got away from the horrible weather in Boston, and just hung out. But I loved it. I loved it. I would really want to fight in Vegas and then maybe go out 2-3 weeks before, get used to the time and all that, and get used to being in Vegas and at the PI, and then fight at the T-Mobile Arena or whatever. But I definitely recommend going back, and I loved it. I had a blast out there. It's you get only thing that sucks, you got to bring on your training partners. But besides that, everything is perfect. The food, the strength and conditioning, all the recovery stuff. So I definitely recommend doing it.
We have Dan Tom, our fight analyst here. What do you have for Rob Font, Dan?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I got a food question to start off too. Once you guys got started on that, Rob, what do you have a go-to when the fight's over, man? Whether it's a local spot at home or maybe just a home cook, kind of meal from your childhood, kind of a theme. Is there any go-to for you after the fights?
It's always been different. Like the last one, it was I believe it was donuts. I really wanted the donut, but this one it was more like brownies and ice cream. So I definitely had some brownies and ice cream, like cookie skillets, like that type stuff. Like that's what I really wanted after this fight. But it always changes up throughout the camps for some reason.
Right on, man. And obviously you're doing work right now down at bantamweight, and you're doing great at that. But you're still young in your career. I'm not sure how much you walk around at, or if the appetite's growing at all, or the body's growing. But do you see yourself finishing your career as bantamweight, or do you see yourself maybe after chalking off a few goals, maybe trying out a higher weight class?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I didn't start fighting at 35 until I got to GSP, so I wouldn't mind going up a weight, down the line, testing myself and my skills set there. So definitely, I wouldn't say no to that at all.
Now, Rob, I love MMA Junkie. I love hosting MMA Junkie Radio. And all the guys and gals that work for MMA Junkie, they're all fine people. But guess what I get to do at this very moment while I have you on the phone?
What's this?
I'm going to throw them all under the bus. Every single one of them, all right? We have like 4 editors, some radio hosts, some writers. And check it out, dude. We do our staff picks every week, all right? Only one person had your back, and it's the guy you said, "What's up, big man?" to. I'm looking at this. Yeah. Look at these names. Dan Tom sitting to my left with a red-faced tomato over here. Brian Garcia, another red face sitting to my right. And look at these names. Simon Samano, he's editor-in-chief out in L.A. Stephen Rocco, he's been writing for 12 years for MMA Weekly and MMA Junkie. John Morgan, 2009 Journalist of the Year. Matt Erickson, you wrote for, let me see, it was the Chicago Times, right? NFL Picks Extraordinaire. Ken Hathaway just had his best weekend out in Charlotte, asking questions, videography, in front of the camera, behind the camera. Ben Folks, I consider
a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
No, he was my #1 pick for Journalist of the Year. Dan Stupp, he created MMA Junkie. Mike Bond, 2014 champion of staff picks. He's our stats whiz. Fernanda Prates covers MMA Junkie in Brazil. 2 more. Trent Wright-Smith, latest addition to MMA Junkie, fine writer, and Abby Subban, who does videography work in the UK. He's based in the UK and in Europe. All of them, Rob. All of them picked Almeida. I'm the only one that had your back.
I'm no meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure it's raining bitches.
So if you see anyone from Junkie at any of your world travels and they go, "Hey, Rob, how you doing?" And in any way they identify themselves as Junkie, just go, "Man, I just got one guy. It's George. Get out of here. I ain't talking to nobody."
Yeah, that's it. That's all I said. Only talking to George. That's it. You have to get the rest of these guys.
It was unanimous with. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Now, Rob, I think a lot of that had to do.
We need those doubters.
A lot of that had to do with, your career's been great, but I guess you were lacking those signature wins, and you got it. So that it's like you took that next step. You know what I mean? Because Munoz is a tough guy, and Lineker's a tough guy, and they're both ranked. You've been smashing everyone else, but now you got yourself a ranked guy. How does that feel? That level of confidence, and now we do get to throw around names like Rivera, Dillashaw, Cruz. I mean, you're kind of in that mix now.
Yeah, it's huge, man. I've been. That's all I've been wanting to do since I got into the, into the division, is be able to even have the opportunity to say these guys' names. You know what I'm saying? So like now we do, have we can legitimately get these type of fights. So I'm happy, definitely, because especially I already had this opportunity twice and I messed it up. So, came through with the third one, but I don't know what it is. And I struggled in Brazil, and we got to fix that. But I'm ready, man. I'm ready for these big fights. But, I show that when I win, I finish, and then I'm in there to finish. So I think I have a great shot of beating all these guys, and not even just beating them, but finishing them. I think if I put my right hand on somebody, they're going to sleep. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I love the stand-up, and you usually have a reach advantage over anybody as well. So you definitely have the tools, some speed, some snap on your punches. Can't wait to see you work against the next guy. And you're right. Something needs to be figured out, guys, because Dillashaw, when he won, it seemed automatic. Okay, let's do the super fight they've been talking about with him and Mighty Mouse. But now Mighty Mouse doesn't want to fight till July. Dillashaw's healthy. Do they give Dillashaw someone else? And then you got this thing where Cruz got injured, but I didn't know it was going to be such a big setback. I thought he would have fought by now. Rivera's calling out Garbrandt. Garbrandt's calling out Cruz. Everyone's calling each other out, but no one's. Reyes, he was also in that little triangle.
I'm jump right back on there with DC. So let's try to make this happen.
Makes sense.
I'm with my manager right now.
All right, my man. Hey, thanks for the time as always. Congrats on a great win, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care. See you, Rob.
Easy, Rob.
Have a good one.
Later. That is Rob Font, folks. Follow him on Twitter at Rob S. Font. Great night for him on January 20th out in Boston, Massachusetts. He really, really set the tone for that night. It was a great, great KO. He took some shots, too, from Almeida. It wasn't a picnic. It wasn't a stroll in the park, but in the end, he was the one that got his hand raised.
What kind of license do you need to drive a bus? 'Cause I'm going to start taking that course. Because I just got annihilated by a bus. Dan Tom, I'm picking up his body. There are bodies everywhere.
There's a lot of bodies. But you know what? The only reason I picked that one is because
it's a good burn.
It was because everyone on Junkie was all Thomas Almeida, and I was the only one, Rob Font. So I figured, well, this is a good time to smash the whole site.
Man, I should.
It's a good chance to smash the whole site.
Wow, I should have pumped my chest when we had Jessica Rose Clark in studio. Then
who do we have? We had the other one.
Yeah, I think I was like the only person to go perfect
in the whole site
because I was the only person to pick her.
I picked her the fight
Paige,
before.
Right? Yeah, I think I did take Paige.
I picked her the fight before, but I didn't pick her on this one.
Yeah,
you did.
And the whole site was like that too, Dan.
Maybe one of maybe one of the newer guys might have picked Rose, but yeah, I was the only person to go perfect.
Well, for sure, if it's ever unanimous, then I think it's a green light. Does he? Just to be opposite.
No. Right? Yeah, but he's had a couple of those.
I just already know that it's going to come up on both sides, good and bad, enough as it is on its own. I'm just going to let it happen.
Most fighters are pretty cool about it. I try and present it in a way where it's not like
not like thrown under the bus.
Well,
that was full Dennis Hopper speed.
But that lightens it up, believe it or not.
No, it was good. It was good. Rob's a good sport too.
He is a good sport. Most fighters are a good sport. I don't think I've ever really gotten the confrontational. What the fuck? I think I got somewhat of a version of it, but then I got the smiley face, so whatever.
Pass the tissues. We all got issues.
Let's take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93, early edition of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. We'll be right back after this break.
are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
It's Super Bowl week, and Barstool Radio is bringing you their own unique flavor to the big game between the Patriots and the Eagles. Enjoy live and interactive show from Cowboy Jack's in downtown Minneapolis all week. From joining them, of course, will be El Presidente, Dave Portnoy, KFC, Pat McAfee, and Big Cat. Listen to Super Bowl 52 coverage that's designed by the common man for the common man on Barstool Radio on Power 85. All right. We just hung up the phone with Rob Font. Earlier we had Joe Lauzon. If you missed any part of those interviews, check them out. They are available on the SiriusXM app, commercial-free HD quality. We also have replays on SiriusXM. 8 p.m. Eastern Time is definitely one of them. All this is also available on our website, MMA Junkie, as well as on Facebook and YouTube. So not hard to find. Throw in iTunes. It's everywhere. Clay Guida's calling out Edwin Barboza. I meant to say Edson Barboza, but he really called him Edwin Barboza. You guys down to see that?
No.
Edwin
you
Barboza,
guys?
that's a good one.
Well, you know, Barboza, that'd be two wrestlers in a row. Guida can definitely,
as a fan,
take
I want
the stuffing out of one of those guys, those stand-up guys, and put him in his world.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if it don't work out, more than likely the striker will light the other guy up. It can be fun at times. I think Barboza probably won't be excited to be doing it because he just fought Habib, so he'll probably want to get maybe somebody that's more striking oriented.
Yeah. As a fan, I want to see Edson Barboza what he does best. That's strike.
Yeah, same here. I don't know if, and also I don't know if how fast the takedown defense is progressing at this point of his career. You know, to be honest. So I don't know if we should be putting those unfair expectations, which you could argue was put on him with the Cole Khabib matchup in the first place. So yeah, I'm with Goes. Let him get back to doing what he's good at.
Great win for Clay though, if he can pull it off. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of that fight.
Where do you file a story like this? Middleweight standout Mamed Khalidov returns at KSW 42. There's a joke there. Is apparently one of 4 people left on Earth. I'm not so worried about that. I'm just worried about why hasn't this guy ever attempted to just get out of KSW? I know he's a big star, but honestly, I feel like because this guy was ranked for a while, and I had trouble keeping him there because of the quality of competition. But I guess if that's what makes him happy, great. But I would have hoped for him to make some sort of a move again to North America, and it never happened.
I look at it as in soccer. What do you think is the biggest league?
The English Premier League.
I think it kind of stands out, right? Like, there's not that many people that argue other leagues are better, right? Say somebody played their entire career in the Spanish division. Good league, good teams, face a lot of top talent. Maybe he's just looking at it like that because in Poland that's so big that he's just happy being that big fish in that small pond, which really isn't that small of a pond to him. But a lot of people are going to be like, would have been nice to see him test his skills in the Premier League.
Right.
But he could still retire that way and probably still be happy.
Maybe that's just what he wants to do. Yeah. All right, let's continue on here with the calls. John from Seattle. Oh, doesn't have a question. Are we taking that call or not, Danny? I forget. Or I can't tell.
No.
All right. Showtime from Tennessee. What's up, Showtime? It's your time.
What's going on, fellas?
Not much, and you?
Nothing much, man. Was shocked when I got a little alert that Junkie was coming on. I'm like, damn, I guess I missed the memo on that. You guys said the show would be on early. But you guys bitching about being up, man. I've been up, about 7.5 hours grinding, man. And y'all know Dan Tom over there whining about this time. Now I got to mess with you, Dan Tom.
It's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah, I'm covering some ground, trying to get out and get to Jersey and back by tomorrow so I can watch the fights. But, hey, man, think about some of these guys that don't necessarily come to the UFC. Man, if a guy can go make a good living somewhere, man, a lot of guys, it's about the money. You know, they got mouths to feed. And coming to the UFC for less money to try to prove yourself, that's not how some guys live. You can be the big man, you know, in wherever you fighting, whatever country you fighting in. You can be the big man there and make a lot of money, you know, kind of like the one championship guys. Why why he hadn't left the top fighter over there. I think he could come to the UFC and do real well. But when you find those organizations that pay you real good, man, sometimes it's hard to walk away from that.
Yeah, it all comes down to the individual. If he's okay with it, right? But you're talking about Ben Askren. If Ben Askren can live with it, then more power to him. He probably did make a grip with money. Probably made a lot more money.
He did try, though. He tried. He flew out to Vegas. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, he didn't like the deal, wasn't? I mean, when he talked with them, I think I heard him talking on something. That deal wasn't real good, though, was it?
I'm not sure if it boiled down to that.
He just felt he was lied to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta look at it like that. Hey, on another subject before I get off with you guys.
What's up, Showtime?
Shoot.
Kobe.
Hey, you're breaking up, Showtime. Can you start over?
I'm breaking up?
Yeah. Just start over. What was the
I'm
question?
kind of in a bad area if I'm breaking up. Yeah, I said I was looking at records, man. I know, Kobe Covington, a big, friend of the Junkie Nation. But, man, I think he got to get one more big fight in. I was looking at the people who he beat and how he beat them. And, I mean, I'm kind of lukewarm on that. I like him as a prospect, but just I want to see him get some more skins. I know he talk a lot of shit, but, when it comes down to production and he beat a Damian Maia that looked like he kind of got old overnight. You can get old overnight in this fight game, too. And he beat him up pretty bad, but he took a little damage in that fight, too. So I wouldn't mind seeing him beat one of these young studs that's hungry like him before he just jumped. I mean, I could see if he had been knocking people out. If he had, like, his last 7 fights, he had knocked 6 guys out or knocked 5 guys out. But he had a bunch of decisions along the way. So that style of fighting, that fight might not be the most exciting fight either.
Perhaps, yeah. Who would you give it to then? RDA?
Yeah, RDA. But I want to see him fight, one of these young hungry guys, man. That's what I mean. I'm looking at Stun Gun and all them. I mean, they okay, but shit. I mean, those guys can be beat, and I want to see him fight one of these young guys that's hungry, just like him. I think RDA, even though he did it in a different division, I think his resume is a little bit better, man. I think he deserved that shot. I mean, not trying to. I know I talk a lot of shit about Kobe, but he talks a lot of shit. So when you talk shit, you're gonna get that back to you in return. I mean, he'll get his chance to fight for the championship. I just don't think he's supposed to get it right now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
All right, as a fan, and I know you're a boxing fan as well, when you see videos of Floyd Mayweather getting into a cage, talking a little smack, do you care?
Man, I saw that and just laughed. It even looked funny looking at Floyd running in barefooted, man. I just started laughing. I don't know what angle they coming at, but Floyd he's real smart, just like Conor. It's some angle that he's coming at with this. I don't know what it is. I mean, will we get them in boxing again? I mean, I don't know, but I know he's not about to get in the cage. I'm wanting to know, didn't he rent the gym out in Vegas? Didn't he rent?
That's the Syndicate gym.
Which gym did he supposedly rent out?
That was the Syndicate gym. I don't know if he rented it or what he did, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I want to see. I can't see a guy this late in his life. But I'm gonna George, let me get on you. Yes, I meant to say something the other day. When you saying that these strawweight girls could beat Floyd, man, Floyd would knock one of them little chicks out. They wouldn't even get a chance to get in and put their hands on him. You talking about the best boxer, pound for pound, in the world for years. They wouldn't even get a chance to touch him. He'll just touch one of them and knock him right out. So let me stun gun you on that. That was just like the Ronda Rousey beating him up and all that.
Here's what I said. I said all the guys and most of these girls, and then I stopped at strawweight. I think I mentioned they're my favorite division, and then I went, oh, you know what? I go, I think I'm talking crazy here. I go, just Cyborg, and that was it. I said, I think just Cyborg, and the rest of them, I'm with you. Floyd, I think, throws a 1-2, and that's that. So, yeah. But I'll still take the stun gun. What the hell?
How about I just give you one?
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this, though. When you deal with girls that can grapple, like Misha, like girls, like next-level grappling, because I get go to BJJ and get down and roll around. When you get some of those girls, women that are like black belts and stuff like that, now that's a whole different game. Because, you know, when I would go to class and I would see this lady in there submitting guys all the time. I mean, that's a whole different level. But you got to get it to the ground, though, for it to, you know, brother doesn't even have a chance to submit him. You got to shoot, and you might get clipped trying to shoot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I think Floyd's just doing a big tease. Somebody threw out, what about him versus CM Punk? And actually, I was warm to it. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Run him. Run it. Floyd only has to weigh 156.5, and he can do it. And CM Punk would have to weigh 171, and we'd have ourselves a welterweight fight. Anyway, good talking to you, Showtime, as always. Thank you, man.
Okay, guys.
All right.
All right.
All right, I pounded a lot of water. We got to take one more break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. I think that'll be good for us for breaks, and then we'll just coast into the finish line. It's the early edition of MMA Junkie Radio. We'll be doing this again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Start Time, so join us for that as well. Still got a few minutes if you want to call in, 866-522-2846. We'll be right back.
They pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been, and because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goes, and this is MMA Junkie Radio.
Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio. I'm Goes. This is Dan Tom. Danny Oakers in New York.
I'm here. Yeah.
And a guy named John from Seattle who is just kind of listening to the show on hold. I love that. That's what you call a junkie. Can't get enough. Dan Tom, your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather? Do you care?
No.
At all?
Not at all.
What if it meant for real he's going to get in there? Do you care then?
I guess, but...
Like, do you remember your feelings when Conor Floyd, how we were all kind of like, and then we kind of got into it for a little bit, and then we were like, again, and...
I won't go full hater if it were to happen, or take, like, those stances, but I guess just if I come off full hater, it's just because of time in general. I think, you know, off air, not to give a nod, but Danny asked me why I made a funny noise. And it's just it's just like we talk about. There's only so many time for not even just centric to my situation. All of our situations is media, you guys, the fans out there. We all talk about how it's hard to follow all these different sports, and there's only so many times in a day. And I think, at least for me, at a certain point, I have to compartmentalize. And if I go chasing every lead that comes across my Twitter timeline, if I get excited for everything, it's almost like it depletes your reserves, whether it's your reserves for energy for the rest of that day or your overall energy for the sport and thing we're talking about as far as interest itself. Now, could I be looking into it? Could that be just me? Sure. But that's just my honest opinion. So if I sound a little negative or I'm really quick to shut down, like, nope, it's just because it's so easy to get that feed, It's just as easy as it is, like you're talking at the beginning of the show, the kid, we're seeing that more, these kids at these important events that are just glued to their phone. It's so easy for us to be that kid in a way, right? In the sense of, and it's so easy to not just be the receiver, but it's so easy to be the giver. What's the debate right now with this Woodley talk? It's, oh, this person talks too much, this person doesn't talk enough. I don't, sorry, I'm tangenting, but yeah. Essentially, anybody can go and do a half-ass produced video, which is what that was, a half-ass produced video. Looks like he just freshly took his gym shot, his socks off, which I'm surprised Floyd even went that far to even burn the calories to take his socks off to do that. Like, it really looked like he could care less of putting into it. Like, it looked like me and my buddies are in high school. Let's mess around and do this really let's really unthought out video. Almost like we're hiding the smile off our face because we're literally not caring about it that much, about being serious. Like, that's what it felt like. So for me to get excited about that with everything else going on in the sport, that for Dan Tom, not for you, it doesn't have to be for you, but for Dan Tom, goes real low on my priority list. I'm like, okay, cool, whenever something gets signed. Hell, even those targeted posts, I get excited about it. But that's just the way the sport's kind of trained us. Is that?
I don't get excited for fights until maybe the week of, just because I'm so nervous of a fighter falling off that it's like, nah.
That kind of feeds into my point, better than my tangent. What Goes just said, we've all been there. I don't think any of us can deny that, right? No matter what our view is in the sport. So yeah, I mean, it's just hard to get excited for things until they're there. So.
By the way, the story just went live on MMAJunkie.com. Colby Covington says Tyron Woodley versus Rafael Dos Anjos would mean lowest pay-per-view ever for the UFC. That is an article written by Steven Morocco, based off of the interview yesterday with Colby Covington, who heard his ears ringing. Yesterday we were talking, and we got him on, and he pretty much went into pro wrestling mode. But it was pretty funny. It was pretty entertaining. So a lot of things came out of that interview. Make sure you read that. Make sure you read Dan Tom's articles. They're dropping. Back to Floyd Mayweather. Dan Tom, how would you even break down a fight like that?
MMA? I mean, it's the same. Really, it's the same way everybody else would break it down.
Would you would even watching him train sway you in any way?
Not at all.
So you don't even have to see it. You just kind of
No, and to get heady and to get technical for a second, for what it's worth, like Floyd Mayweather, I didn't write any articles from Mayweather McGregor, but I did do my own study, and I went back. I used it as an excuse to go back in the Mayweather timeline, right? And a good excuse to go back and watch all his fights, and it's really awesome. Like, it might not sound like I'm a Mayweather fan, but I'm a fan of the guy as a boxer and watching his art, and I had a lot of fun going back and watching his stuff.
As a boxer.
Yeah. And watching it, even more than a boxer, the art of combat, like the way he would work the clinch and kind of frame. And I actually was going to bring it up because Anna was actually nodding to it when she was talking about, Roger and working at Mayweather's and whatnot, and the surprisingness of how they work with their frames and shoot. He was referencing, greats like Hearns. Like Tommy Hearns, who was Hitman Hearns, who was really great at using his frames, and Floyd Mayweather in a different way, a more calculated way, will do it the same way, where he'll almost frame off. He knows where the shots are coming from, so he'll put that one frame up, and he'll almost work it like a clinch. Like you could see, I would give Floyd, in other words, working in a clinch and knowing his way around it, trying to teach him things like underhooks and mechanics. I would give him, even at his age and advanced age of his career, I would give him more of a chance of having more to show for it in a 3, 6, or 12-month training camp for an MMA fight than Boxer X, if for what that's worth, people. But taking that microscope and weird little just kind of look and random fine point, it's essentially just going to come down to everybody arguing over the puncher's chance 2%? Is it 6%? Is it 8%? Like, that's the only real analysis you're really ever going to get when you have a kind of a boxing MMA crossover.
I keep thinking about it, and I give him a little bit more of a chance than other people do.
Percentage-wise, what would you put a number?
Well, it all depends on who he's fighting, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just such a tall task for him to come in and do that. Like, people forget his age and everything. Like, it's a lot, dude. I honestly think it would be a horrific ass kicking. But depending on the matchup, like, if I'm him, I want to fight Conor. I mean, that's probably the dude I would want to fight. Stay away from your GSP type fighter or someone like that. That's just not gonna waste time. Has no ego, take you down and make your life miserable, right? But maybe you could talk Conor into standing with you for a little bit. And at the end of the day, he is a very high level striker with his hands. He's got a lot of speed, throws a little different. Maybe you could catch him, but I don't know. I really don't have much interest in it at all, especially knowing how much money's going to go towards that. But I'll be the guy that watches it for sure.
But even with the money argument, I wonder if this could do damage. I don't want to be the alarmist guy. I don't want to be overly contrarian like I normally am. But, like, for example, here's the only reason. The reason why I think this is because, first of all, if we are going to take it seriously, what's the only reason why Floyd would do it? It would be for money. And the question is, okay, if he's going to do it for money, I guess the question is, how depraved is this guy? What's his character like? Is he willing to get choked out? Because that's more than likely the most likely outcome, even facing a guy like Conor. Is he willing to get, outdone on the ground and take those couple shots and a submission and have to tap and deal with his ego? Is that enough money for him? And if it is, you have to wonder, okay, is this really enough for his ego? Or does Floyd, who's a master at changing narratives, I mean, even if he's outing himself toward borderline illegal or slap on the wrist activity, like betting on his own fights, like with the Mayweather-McGregor, the original one in boxing, who's to say Floyd, who already has a history of doing stints on WWE in a sport, especially in today's climate, is already getting unfair. I'm not against the pro wrestling comparisons, but we're already getting the negative pro wrestling comparisons with the way we're matchmaking. Does it do more damage if it does happen? Floyd loses and his out. He gets money to ease his ego, but publicly to ease his ego, it's I could see him making some comments. In other words, like, oh, the WWE shit, it's just fake. Oh, and just kind of saying inflammatory stuff because he doesn't have any issue digging at Dana or Conor or the UFC.
Yeah.
And make even in a loss, he could still question the integrity of our sport, even if he participated in loss. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah,
I could see him trying to spin it that way.
I want to move away from mixed martial arts really quick and just bring up a topic that I thought was kind of interesting.
Okay.
And I'll just say what I just said.
All right.
George just put on his mic. I'm going to get away from mixed martial arts and talk about another topic that I just kind of found interesting. If you guys want to talk about it,
do it.
Have you guys noticed that entertainers now are saying they're making bans on cell phones at their shows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
For the comedians, I was noticing that for the Chappelle, and I don't mind it at all for comedy shows. I guess music is, I have to think about it more. What's your guys' initial thoughts? I guess
for comedy, I completely understand.
Yeah.
But for music, I maybe get where they're coming from, but now you're telling the person you have to enjoy my work in my way. And I don't know that that's fair when somebody's paying money. They should be able to enjoy it however way they find it. It's a special moment for them. If they want to, like when I go to a concert, I'll film some songs, but I'm not filming all of them. I'll film a couple so that I can go back and listen to it and remember, oh yeah, that was such a good concert. But for the most part, I'm watching. But either way, it's like I paid the money, so I'm not disrupting anything. I'm not flashing anything at anyone. I don't know. It seems a little off.
I think it's super off for music. I don't know. I think maybe Danny co-signs from being in a band. I would much rather look at the audience and have people having lighters, camera phones, or in hardcore shows like I used to play, crowd punching kids and crowd surfing just to get to the mic. That's all a compliment. Like I'd rather have that anything. Just don't be still. Like the thing. I'd rather have them booing than not booing at all. The MMA guys say, right? Same thing.
Danny Otto.
I don't know if it's different for comedians, but like I never minded that. I always thought it was cool that people were into what I was doing enough that they wanted to film it and record it and like remember that, hey, I was having a good time when I was listening to this live.
Is it because they basically are against the person that gets the whole concert then posts it online or whatever? Is that who they're against?
I don't know.
It sounds to me like, at least for comedians, a couple of my roommates went and saw. Yeah, a couple of my roommates went and saw Chappelle when he was in New York recently, and there was a band. They actually, you had to put them down, and they had like special pockets on the seats and stuff that you had to put them in and everything, and like turn them off. And so I guess that, yeah, it'll give away some of the jokes if people record it and stuff. And it's a very quiet time. Like stand up, there's not like. In between the laughing when the punchline hits, it's kind of quiet. Like a concert is a concert. Like, so even having a cell phone and having that out and stuff like that, I don't think that's really a distraction.
I mean, what about all like the little things? George, you and I have been in concerts together. I've gone with Dan Tom. What about just the hey, where are you text? You know, I went to go get a beer. Where are you at? Are you on this side? Like, just little things like that. I don't know, not being able to communicate with your friends. Like, you here yet?
Yeah, that seems
kind of
And a lot of people just want to take the picture, which you could do by bringing your camera. So now guess what? A lot of those cameras have the function of video. So all they're going to do is say, all right, I'm bringing my camera. And I think I'm actually feeling the comedian one as well versus I mean, I like it when comedians take on the hecklers, but it all depends. I think heckle, maybe quick exchange, usually the comedian wins, and then you just move on about your business.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any more of a confrontation than that. As far as the music thing, yeah, like you said, lighters, mosh pits, crowd surfing.
Yeah.
It can't be any different from that, or people holding up signs. I think they need to toughen up a little bit.
I miss signs. Signs were fun.
Yeah.
Man, even like speaking of crowd surfing or even embarrassing, like I remember I missed a crowd surf once jumping on the stage at Celebrity Theater, and it was one of those things where much of my friends were in the audience. So I'm like, all right, sweet, I got a nice contingent here, and I'm like, there's some friendlies amongst this crowd. If any crowd's safe to jump on from a stage, why not I do this one? And I did it. And it was like parting of the Red Sea while I was in midair, and I just ate shit.
Like
and then
from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, there's like a photo of me just like laughing at myself, and like some people were in the background like covering their mouth, and you see me getting up. But I thought it was a hilarious picture. I'm glad someone was there to catch that moment.
Dude, Dan was like Jimmy Superfly Snuka. He has hands up like this and everything.
Just.
Did you get a chance to talk about pit bulls or no?
No, it's all good.
No,
it's all good.
Okay. Maybe it's something we'll bring up tomorrow.
No, I just want to say I co-sign with you completely. It's just it upsets me on the other side of it as a pit bull owner too. I kind of co-sign with your complaint because it's crappy.
And let it be known that a lot of breeds bite people or other dogs. It's not just the pit bull, but yeah, the pit bull gets usually the worst wrath because their bite's so intense, I guess. But it does go down to the owner, the training, and yeah, I mean. With the exception, I guess, of a stray pit bull, you know, who doesn't have an owner, anything can happen. But regardless, Max is safe.
That's the good news.
Yeah, and that's that. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in to an early edition of MMA Junkie Radio. Big thanks to Rob Font. Shout out to Ed Cap for lining that one up. And Joe Lauzon. Shout out to myself for lining that one up. Tomorrow, Rashad Evans will join us. May have another surprise guest or two. And it'll be another early edition of MMA Junkie Radio, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. For Goes and Dan and Danny, I'm George. Have a nice day. Be champions.
I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna